I just let them on. They embarrass themselves. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good evening. We are on, ladies and gentlemen. We are on. Yes, we are. It feels like the third time I've said this already. We are going to be talking about the strike dates when I believe, in fact, let me caveat this headline, okay, first, okay? I'm going to be talking about the date that I believe a U.S. intervention in Iran is coming. I think it. I'm gonna give you guys the evidence. I'm gonna give you guys my rationale towards that. And if I'm wrong, and if nothing happens, my rationale was solid, right? My rationale was solid. So before we get on to that, ladies and gentlemen, I can turn the chat on now. For some reason, the chat's allowing me to turn it on now. It's letting me turn it on. So we're on now. We're on. With the chat is turned on. Right. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, unless you've been living in a cave, we are witnessing in real time the new world order, the new world strategy become unveiled in front of our eyes. So it does look like military intervention in Iran is on the cards. And I think we should stop calling the country Iran. I think we should start calling it Persia. I really do. I think we should start calling it Persia. Persia sounds like a better name, right? Persia's better. I prefer Persia. But anyway, listen, ladies and gentlemen, let me give context to what we're talking about. And listen, if there's anyone on the TikTok minds on here, I'll give you the date now. I think it's coming this Friday, right? I think it's coming this Friday, the 16th. So if you're just on here for the first couple of minutes and you're like, oh, right, okay, I'm going now. Friday the 16th, that's when I think it's coming. But let me give you guys some current context and let you guys know. Let you guys know what we're talking about, because Donald Trump, just let me give context, okay? Right, so let me just start with my opening monologue. I'm waffling, I appreciate that. So good evening, everyone. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining me, okay? So right now in Iran, and I do think we should start calling it Persia. Doesn't Persia just sound better? Right now in Iran, the streets are alive with one of the most extraordinary uprisings the Islamic Republic has ever faced. What began in late December as protests, I mean, we've talked about this, but they initially started as protests against inflation and financial problems. Yes, I will agree. Those flames may have been fanned by the West, MI6, MI5, GCHQ, lots of TLAs, 3-letter acronyms. The regime's response has been ferocious. Security forces in Iran, the Revolutionary Guard, have unleashed live ammunition, tear gas, and heavy weapons on an unarmed crowd. Like, as me as someone from the military, I can't consider that. I genuinely can't see how that happens. I can't see how the military would fire on their own civilians, all right? But, it's happened. Reports from human rights groups, including the United States-based HRANA, I don't know what I can't remember what it stands for, have put the death toll at around 2,000 protesters in the last few weeks, with some estimates even higher. Let me caveat this like I keep caveating, okay, ladies and gentlemen. Any information we're getting out of Iran at the moment, it needs to be taken with a pinch of salt, because the reality is we just don't know. We just don't know. I don't think we'll ever know. If you want to go back to 1988, do you know what? Just put into Google Iran 1988 and you guys will see exactly what happened in 1988 in Iran. Iranian state media has acknowledged thousands of people transcended to beams of light, but have blamed foreign agents and terrorists, while showing funerals of their own security personnel and organized pro-regime rallies to push back. And look, I don't know how this is going to pan out on the streets of the United Kingdom. I really don't. I really don't know how this is going to pan out on the streets of the United Kingdom. There's going to be protests in the United Kingdom, I can guarantee you. I don't know what they're going to be protesting, but they'll be protesting something. They'll either be protesting in celebration and they will be throwing. I'm just going to guys, listen, you guys on TikTok, right? People keep jumping up and want to co-host. I keep clicking them to say yes, but they just vanish. So do you want me to keep clicking them and just leave them there? So there's going to be protests on the. Should I let them on? Should I let the people on TikTok, guys? Should I let people on the hosts? I don't know because it's a bit weird. Anyway, so I think we are going to see protests in the United Kingdom. I don't know what they're going to be protesting or rioting about, but that will happen. Hotels are overwhelmed, morgues are overflowing, smuggled videos show heartbreaking scenes of bodies lined up, and authorities have imposed a near total internet blackout, stopping the world from seeing the horror and to prevent protesters from organising. I think it's worth noting at this point, in 2013 in Ukraine, go and check this out because this is what people don't understand. People don't understand the timeline of what happened in Ukraine. But in Ukraine, 2013, I'm pretty sure it was 2013, Facebook moved in, right? And Facebook said, hey, everyone, we're Facebook. If you download our app, we'll give you free phone calls, free messaging, and free video calling. So guess what? Everybody downloaded Facebook, right? And then guess what happens? You can dictate what people are seeing on their feed, right? So it's a very easy way. It's a very simple way of putting influence in that country, right? You give people free calls, you give people free video calls, you give people free messaging, and guess what? People download your app. So so in Ukraine in that time, you didn't have to have data. You could literally, if you downloaded Facebook app and you didn't have any data on your phone, you didn't have any credit on your phone, you could still make calls, you could still make video calls, and you could still do messaging. So with that, you also got to see the Facebook feed and whoever dictates that. So this isn't just an internal Iranian matter. This has rippled through, it's got ripple effects that reach here in the United Kingdom. Oil prices are already starting to rise. Iran is a major producer and 20% of the world's oil transits through the Strait of Hormuz. We've all talked about that lots of times. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about, right? Any prolonged disruption could push energy costs even higher for British households, businesses, more broadly, regime change, or even sustained instability in Iran would reshape the Middle East, affecting everything from migration flows, counter-terrorism efforts, and our alliances in the country, in the region. In fact, let me jump onto the chat because I've got quite a bit to get through this evening, ladies and gentlemen. Right. Is everybody behaving on the chat? I'm looking at the chat. I'm looking at the chat. The chat looks okay. Everybody looks like they're behaving themselves. People stop. Listen, guys, I don't mind people calling me out on the chat. Do you know what? I actually welcome it. I welcome it, guys. I do. I welcome people calling me out on the chat. Don't be rude. Don't swear. Literally, if you've got something to say on the chat and you think I don't know what I'm talking about, please put it on the chat in a polite manner because I'm polite to you. I am. I got called some very nasty names earlier. I got called some very nasty names, and I'm fine with people calling me nasty names. I am. I'm absolutely fine. Simone Lees is saying, looks like you was right, Sean. America will be at war in the Middle East and the UK will be at war with Russia. Yeah, you know what? I said this was coming 2 years ago. I said you're going to start to see these footprints and this direction of travel. And guess what? Now, listen, guys, you guys on TikTok, it's getting hot in here. It's getting hot in here. I might have to take my jumper off. If somebody came up to you guys now and said, guys, oh my God, the United States are going to be at war in Iran, or a special military operation, or a limited military intervention, or something militarily in Iran, right? whatever. I don't know what they're going to call it anymore. I don't know what they call these things. They create all these names. And the United Kingdom is going to be leading the forces in Ukraine. If I said that right now, you just say, yeah, we know that, Sean. We've been watching the news. When I said this like 2 years ago, I said, look, you're going to see the footsteps now. You're going to see these diversions. So what I'm saying to you guys, wild things like the US takeover of the United Kingdom's coming. There's going to be a mass exodus of Western culture to Antarctica. These things are coming, guys. And I'm not just saying them to get people swizzly-badizzly. I'm saying them because I genuinely see them. Vene is saying, I had a boyfriend from Iran in my early 20s. He wouldn't have it any other way. He was Persian. Yeah. I think we should start calling people from Iran Persians, guys. I do. I think we should start calling people Persian from Persia. I knew a guy in the army. I'm not going to say his name. He's solid guy. He was Persian. He was a solid guy, you know, really good guy. He was Iranian. Really good guy. Stuart is saying they want TikTok battles. I don't know what a TikTok battle is. I'm not about battles, guys. I make peace, not war. I'm a lover, not a fighter. Silly Gallardi is saying the people here are very lax and feel if it will help the people of Iran, we are up for it. Listen, guys, I think we should all start calling the people of Persia. Let's call them the people of Persia. Let's give them Persia. Right, let me continue with this because I've got quite a bit to get through. And for those of you guys who've been following me on TikTok, we have got a mouse in the house. His name is Klaus. And it's just a bit carnage in there at the moment. In the house, it's absolutely carnage because there's a mouse somewhere and we've not caught it. And I had to go to the store earlier and buy a ton of like mouse traps and stuff. Now we've got the mouse traps and everybody thinks, oh, as soon as we put the mouse traps down, that's not how it works. Anyway, let's continue, guys. Listen, if you're joining for the first time and you just want to know when I think Trump is going to strike Iran, I think it's coming this Friday, okay? I think it's coming this Friday, and I am going to give you the reasoning why, okay? If it does or does not happen, my reasoning is solid. So if it does or doesn't happen, I don't care because when you do these things at government level, right, people ask you some wild stuff. They're like, Sean, what's going to happen if this happens? You're like, mate, are you winding me up? Like, I don't know. You're like, oh, but what would you think? And you have to say, right, okay. Because your career, when they're paying you to be an advisor, your career's on the line, right? So if somebody was asking me, Sean, when is Trump going to strike Iran? I'll give you guys a list of potential military options in a minute. I would say this Friday. Now, I am going a bit woo-woo with this one as well. I've got a bit of a woo-woo, something that tipped me over the edge. It was a spiritual calling card, actually, that tipped me over the edge, that tipped me to say that it was coming this Friday. So Friday the 16th, guys, and I will give you my rationale. I will give you my reasoning. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But my rationale and my reasoning is solid, so it doesn't really matter. This is my analysis. Anyway, let's continue, shall we? Let's continue, ladies and gentlemen. So the situation in Iran has taken a more dramatic turn with direct intervention now from the United States. President Donald Trump has been unequivocal in his support for the Iranian, I'm going to start saying Persian, for the Persian people. If I say Persian, though, people may not know what I'm talking about. In posts on Truth Social and in public statements over the past few days, Donald Trump has urged protesters to keep protesting, to take over your institutions, and to document the names of those responsible for the violence. Because in his word, in Donald Trump's words, they're going to pay a big price. They're going to pay a real big price. It's going to be the biggest price they've ever paid in their lives. Most strikingly, he declared today, help is on the way. Like, I don't know how anyone can misinterpret that. And that's one of the reasons that I'm giving the date of this Friday the 16th. It may happen at the night time, so it may happen like early hours, depending on your time zone. He's cancelled all meetings with Iranian officials until the senseless killing of protesters stops. And look, let me be quite clear with you guys. I should probably done this right at the beginning. I'm like really pro-life. I'm like so pro-life. I think that everybody has the right to life, no matter how bad they are. I do. I think everybody has the right to life. I've been tested a few times. I think prison, I think punishment through the legal system should be a fate potentially that you'd be wishing to not be there. But I don't think anyone should be unalived, right? I don't think anybody has the right to transcend somebody else into a beam of light. And I know that's rich coming from me. Sometimes those lines are blurred, but that's what I think. All right. Sometimes it happens, sometimes you have to do it in self-defense. In self-defense, you absolutely have to do it. Because your life should always take precedent over other people's life. Like if you're in the United Kingdom, for example, if you're the government of the United Kingdom, the people of the United Kingdom should take precedence over all other countries in the world. If you're the government of France, the French people should take precedence, should take priority over all other people in every country of the world. If you live in Belgium, if you're the government of Belgium, the Belgian people should take priority over every other country. For example, if you live in Germany, right, and a German man is asking for help, he should get priority over a Nigerian man. That's just the way it goes, right? And if you live in Nigeria and you're the government of Nigeria and a Nigerian man is asking for help and a German man is asking for help, the Nigerian man should take priority. That's how things work, guys. That's how things work. Anyway, let me continue. So help is on the way, Donald Trump says. He's cancelled all meetings with Iranian officials. He said that military options have been analyzed and that the United States is locked and loaded if the crackdown continues. And something's happening tomorrow that is going to be the linchpin. It's going to be the linchpin. It's going to be yes or no. And there could actually be a spectacular tomorrow. I don't think it's likely. There's a low chance of this happening, but it's still there. The chance is still there of an absolute spectacular swizzle tomorrow. So the US administration is reportedly weighing everything from tougher sanctions. I don't think sanctions are going to be the option. Cyber attacks to potential military strikes and other forms of direct support. The Iranian regime, for their part, are saying, the Iranian regime are claiming, and look, like I said, with everything that's coming out of Iran right now, we need to take it with a pinch of salt. I'm not convinced of its authenticity. Everything that comes out of Iran. So the Iranian regime are saying that the situation is under control. They're threatening war if attacked by the United States. They're saying they're going to get a big surprise or something. Somebody quote what they said. The Iranian leadership, they said that the United States will get a big surprise. I'm like, what's the big surprise? Really? Oil prices going up? The Iranians are blaming this basically on the Americans and the Israelis. But the scale of protests, the economic stagnation and the international condemnation from like everyone. This is an absolute pivotal moment. And whatever happens, Iran as we know it is over. It is. It's over. There's no coming back from this now. Whether the government take control and manage to bring things down and manage to, keep control or whatever, Iran has changed now. It's changed. You can never go back. You can never go back. And I think it's fascinating. I think it's fascinating on so many levels that there are people in the United Kingdom who are screaming out for Sharia in the United Kingdom. They're screaming out, "Oh, we want Sharia courts in the United Kingdom. We want to live under Sharia." That's happening in the United Kingdom. I promise you, that's happening. We all know it's happening. They're Sharia law courts. And then the Persians living under Islamic rule are literally risking public executions because they don't want to live like that anymore. It really is fascinating. It's fascinating to look at. As a case study, academically, it really is. It really is fascinating. Okay, James, perfect question, James. Perfect question. James is saying, Sean, how long does it take America to get all its military assets in position for a potential military strike? Well, first of all, it depends what military strike we're talking about. For an airstrike, it will take maybe 12 hours. Maybe 12 hours for an airstrike. And I'm talking a B-2 bombing raid. For a B-2 bombing raid, for a stealth bomber raid, it's going to take like maybe 12 hours to get from point A to point B, drop the bombs and come back. Obviously, that's dropping the bombs, and then there's maybe the flight time back. It depends, it depends what that movement is. Michael is saying radical feminist Canadian is the face of Iranian woman. I don't know what that means, mate. I don't know what that means. Googleinos is saying Albanian illegal migrant will be deported for the 5th time. Are we giving him the 10 grand handshake as well? In fact, can you imagine this, right? You know how the Home Secretary, what's her name? Is it Shabina? You know Shabina, good old Shabina Mahmoud. My name is Shabina Mahmoud, and I am allied to Islam. Listen, guys, that's what she said. I'm not making that up. Shabina Mahmoud literally came out and she said that she's a proud Muslim. And I say more power to her for that. She's a proud Muslim and she is, and Islam dictates everything that she does. I'm just throwing it out there, right? That's what she said. I'm not judging that. I'm saying that's what she's on many. She's on many. She's been on many podcasts. She's quite open about that, right? So Shabina Mahmood, she says that they're gonna pay migrants like 30 grand. That number's for entertainment purposes. I think I think it was close to 30 grand. It might have been more or slightly less. If it's slightly less, it's only slightly less, or it might be euros or something. But basically, Shabina Mahmood is saying that she is going to increase the amount of money that she pays migrants to leave the United Kingdom. Now, the rationale behind that is, look, it's costing us, I don't know, X thousands of pounds to keep an illegal migrant in the United Kingdom. So we're looking at hotels, we're looking at food, we're looking at healthcare, we're looking at, all the rest of it. So what she's saying is, rather than do that, we're just going to send them home with the money. Can you imagine if they just keep coming back, like Googleinos is saying, an Albanian illegal migrant will be deported for the 5th time. That's what, 3, 6, 9, 12. That's like 150 grand. It's a business venture, right? If you are, like, you can imagine it, right? Imagine like the Albanian, sorry, imagine, what's it called? Imagine Albanian's Dragon's Den, right? Albanian Den, Albanian Dragons or whatever. And, people come out there and like, yes, I am going to buy a rubber dinghy and go to United Kingdom, and every time they send me back, I make 30,000. You can have like the equivalent of Duncan Bannatyne saying, I like your business proposal, and I really see legs. I'd like to offer you the full money for a 20% share in your business. Like you can see that, right? It's guaranteed money, cash in the bank. Oh, Lisa Jane is saying, oh, thank you, Lisa. She's saying, please be kind in the chat. We don't want me banned again. Listen, guys, if anybody's in the chat, look, I promise you, you guys in the chat who want to call me out, I totally welcome it. I really do. Be cool, all right? Be cool. Just be kind. Be courteous. You don't need to swear, right? People genuinely don't need to swear. People don't need to swear in their lives. You know, I may agree. Sometimes I do swear a little bit. But if you want to call me out or say something say something wrong, I'm quite happy with you guys calling me out, and I will politely articulate myself back. Right, you guys on TikTok. I'm gonna Michael is saying fake news. What is fake news, Michael? Michael, can you send me a link to the fake news? We don't like fake news. We don't like fake news, Michael. Nobody likes fake news. Right, listen, you guys on TikTok, I'm gonna close you guys down pretty soon. Then I will just be streaming on YouTube. I will just be streaming on YouTube, where I am the Real Raven 1. And you know what? I am gonna get myself a carbonated drink. I only just realized I have got bottles and bottles. I've probably got like 30 bottles of carbonated apple fermented apple drinks down there. So as soon as I've closed you guys down on TikTok, I will be getting one. I've probably got 30 bottles down there, and I will be jumping over. So you guys on TikTok, I'll be closing you guys down shortly, very soon, next couple of minutes. And the Real Raven 1 on YouTube. Right, let me jump down and see what else is going on in this chat, and then I'll continue. Right, it's fake. What's fake? The moon landing. Listen, guys, I always say the moon landing's fake. No, I don't always say the moon landing's fake at all. What I've always said about the moon landing is, if it's fake, the Russians are in on it. Now, I don't know if the Russians are in on it, but the further we move forwards in life, in reality, I just, I start to question whether the moon landings were fake. Oh God. Zionist fake news media. Right. Okay. Do you know what you're doing now? You know all these conspiracies, right? About like Silly will tell you. Silly's in Israel, right? So Silly's in Israel. Right, Silly, I don't know if you're listening right now. But I'm being called a Zionist fake news media. I can neither confirm nor deny if I'm in receipt of financial incentive from any Mossad agencies. What this does really, it makes me you know how you think, oh God, yeah, that's real. But when I get accused of being like Zionist fake media, it makes me question everything else. I'm like, right, is this real? Is this really a thing? You talk a load of rubbish. I mean, that's an intellect. Right, let me turn TikTok off, actually, because I'm about to listen, you guys on TikTok, I'm about to go medieval, right? I'm about to go full Raven. So I'm going to turn you guys on TikTok off because I don't want to get banned, because what I'll say, it may even get me banned on, it may even get me banned on YouTube or whatever. Right, I'm turning you guys off on TikTok. If you're Real Raven 1 on, I'm turning you off now. And Dobra Noche. Dobry noche, chuvaka. Нет. Which is good night, guys. Right, people no, get off, decline, turn off. Right, there we are. Yeah, so dobra noche, chuvake. Right. Oh, I think, right. Oh, okay. I'm not writing it out again. Scroll up. Listen, put it in a super and I might read it, all right, Michael? I've got a lot to get through, Michael. It's not the Michael show, it's the Raven show. Right, let me jump down. Kick the spammers out. I don't mind the spammers. I really don't. Right, okay, right. You keep saying this, right? Okay, so you are going in you're going in timeout. If you're just gonna say the same thing over and over again, it's weird, man. It really is weird. It's just weird. The picture of the Canadian girl lighting her cigarette from a... I don't know what that means either. I don't know what that means. Right, listen. Yeah, I don't know what that picture is. I'm not talking about that picture, mate. Right, let me jump down. Right, let me jump down. But you know what? God help us. And I think we are all in need of a little spiritual help. Listen, I've got so much to get through. Right, listen, guys. If you're on right now and you just jumped on and you want the exact date that I believe DJT is going to strike Iran, it's this Friday. This Friday, the 16th. Now, I'm going to give you my analysis on that. Whether it happens or not, I don't care, because my analysis is solid, all right? And I used to get paid quite a lot to do this. So it all... Okay. So it all hinges around a planned execution tomorrow, right? Tomorrow. So there's a planned execution tomorrow of a gentleman, I believe his name is Erfan Soltani. He's a 26-year-old man from Syria by hanging on January the 14th, which is tomorrow. Now, this appears to be the first reported execution, not killing, execution, directly linked to the ongoing anti-government protest that erupted in December. So this is going to be a key event, right? Okay, this Erfani Soltani execution. And look, and I said this earlier, this is a young man's life. This is a young man's life. He's got hopes, he's got dreams, he's got aspirations. I am against all ending of people's lives. I am, all of them. And I understand people need to do it in self-defense. I absolutely understand that. I'm against it. Absolutely. I think jail should mean jail, and that should be a very harsh punishment. But I totally don't agree with anything. Anybody. I just think life is sacred, right? I really do, and I'm not changing my mind. I've been quite clear on that. I think all life is sacred. Anyway, so Erfan was arrested on the 8th of January in connection with the protests, according to multiple media reports. And human rights organizations. He was denied access to a lawyer, had no formal trial or court hearing, received no opportunity to appeal. His family was informed of a death sentence on the 11th of January and allowed a brief 10-minute visit described as a final farewell. And this is how you know this is going like... This is how you know that. And again, I know I'm going over things, but like if you're on right now and you're trying to like put yourself... The reason I've done so well in my career is I understand that at the bottom line, ultimately, you have to have somebody to carry out that order. It's why I know that British troops will never fight American troops. It's just not going to happen. It's why I know, differences in culture, because ultimately you may have a prime minister, a president, a supreme leader who's giving an order, but that needs to disseminate down, and that needs to be at the very bottom common denominator, and that order needs to be fulfilled. That's why things in the United Kingdom are so dangerous. So he was described, he was allowed a final 10-minute farewell by his family. So the charges, this is, I spoke about this before. It's this new thing. I can't remember what it is in Arabic. It's like, does anybody speak Arabic? It's like Mohorab. I think it's Mohorab. It basically translated, it means waging a war against God. And if you wage a war against God under Sharia, it's dilly swizzle for you. You know, you're the swizzler. You're gone. You're finished. You're over. And this is why, you know, so for all those liberals in the United Kingdom, right? All those liberals in the United Kingdom who are making an unholy alliance with certain demographics, right? Remember the scene. Remember the scene in London? I think it was Tower Hamlets, where you've got the protesters, the black-clad men with the face masks, and they were quite portly, weren't they? They were quite portly. I don't think they do well in real combat, but anyway, claiming benefits and having kids, they'd be great at that. But in real combat, I think they would have questionable effectivity. I've seen a lot of combat, and I do know the porkers don't do too well. Anyway, sorry guys, but you got these guys walking through Tower Hamlets, and I don't know what happened, but you got this like little cook. It was a little cookie. He was a cook. He was. He probably had a girlfriend, and she had 2 boyfriends. Maybe, allegedly. I don't know if that's the case. And something had happened, and he said, "No need for that, mate. We're all on the same side." And the guys marched, and he said, "No, we're not. No, we're not. We are not." So all these people that think that when Sharia comes to the United Kingdom, it's going to be good for them. Look what's happening in Iran. So this planned execution for tomorrow, it's going to be key, because this is going to back the United States. Probably backing's the wrong phrase to use. This is going to put the United States in it's only going to give them one option, right? If this execution goes ahead tomorrow. First of all, the United States could do an absolute spectacular, and I think it would be fantastic if they did. They could, you know, the United States absolutely have the capacity that to do something by the air, right? They can do something by the air. I know the capability of US airborne forces, US special forces, in an absolutely wild spectacular. The United States, they would take casualties. They would take guys. The guys wouldn't be coming back from this. They would be fucking awesome. And I would, you know, if this happened, I would probably get hit by a massive bout of post-traumatic stress, because I'd be like, wow, I feel I should have been on that op. The United States could go in before this execution. They could decimate the whole area by airstrikes. They could drop in 82nd, 101st Airborne, parachute all their special forces guys in within a couple of hours, take control of the area, and then just, hold the area until reinforcements arrived. And I think there would be a strong case to say, if that happened and the US military took out all the headshed, the rest of the Persians would do the rest. I think that's highly unlikely. But it'd be fucking awesome. It'd be awesome. I just want to throw some figures to you guys, because there are reports that over 10,000 people have been arrested. 10,000 people have been arrested. Now, if you've been arrested, if your mum, if your dad, if your son, your brother, your sister, your partner, whatever, has been arrested, and you think they're going to get the gallows, you're going to push harder, right? If you think that you're going to get the gallows, you're going to push harder, right? So this is why I'm saying, that I think if this gallows appointment goes ahead for Efren Sultani, I don't see any way out of it. The United States have to strike, and they have to strike fast. And the earliest opportunity that they can strike is Friday the 16th. Right, let me jump onto the chat. Silly is saying Europe should stop talking and start doing something. Listen, I think that's absolutely right, Silly. I think that's absolutely right. KK is saying there will be no going back from it. Absolutely not. As soon as that thing happens, there will be no going back from it. Donna is saying I got a bread maker for Christmas. I've been making my own bread as well. I've been making flatbread. Sorry, Templar Matt. Templar Matt saying stop talking, Sean, and get some chat. I'm here. I've got the chat. I'm going up to everyone. Suzanne Hook, I think that is. I used to have a platoon commander called Hook. He was a good guy. When he was drunk, he used to say, "My name." You know what? His first name, he used to say, "Yes, my name's so and so Hook, but you can call me sir." He was quite funny. He was a good guy. While they take Iran, they will take over Greenland at the same time. Listen, I'll be quite clear, and I've said this from day one. I don't see any military intervention in Greenland. I think Greenland will be put to a vote, and the people of Greenland will vote to become American. I do. I think that's going to happen. Donna is saying another 2 NHS trusts, both in Nottinghamshire, have declared critical incidents due to sustained pressure on their Right, let me jump onto this because I was speaking. Listen, guys, can you remember when we was on the live stream and I just said, listen, hey guys, have your kids been offered the flu vaccination at school? Obviously, well, not obviously, but we didn't accept that because we've got healthy kids, and we prefer our kids to get, immunized the old-fashioned way. I like saying the old-fashioned way. And then like maybe 2 or 3 weeks later, there was this massive uptick of said virus. Right, let me Oh, okay. Right, let me share this with you. Thank you for that, Donna. Let me share this and see let's see what this is all about. Listen, guys, if you're jumping on now and you just wanted to find, oh, hang on. Lisa Jane is saying Labour U-turn on digital ID. Right, I'll come on to that in a second, Lisa. I'll come on to that in a second, Lisa. Give me 2 secs. Right, guys, if you've got something urgent, put it in a super because the chat goes up and I just don't get a chance to see everything. And I'm not being like rude or anything. Critical incidents declared at 2 hospital trusts. Critical incidents have been declared at 2 NHS trusts in Nottinghamshire, with patients experiencing significant and unacceptable delays across services. Right, I'll close this and I'll just read this. Nottingham University Hospital Trust said since Christmas, a rise in winter infections and staff sicknesses had led to severe and sustained pressure on its emergency department and across hospital wards. Meanwhile, Sherwood Forest Hospital, every time I hear Sherwood Forest, I think of like Robin Hood and stuff, like men with cloaks, said there were insufficient discharges to meet the demand of patients waiting to be admitted. When declaring the critical incidents on Tuesday, hospital officials pleaded with people to only attend A&E in an emergency. Only come to accident. What about if it's an accident? It literally says accident emergency. No, not for accidents, just for emergencies. they had a demand on its hospital beds had exceeded all of our forecast modelings, with patients having unacceptable and lengthy waits in the corridors. It looks like we're seeing an NHS emergency here. It does. Look, guys, I've spoke about this quite a few times on different live streams. I was in Doncaster. I was in Doncaster, and one of the girls, she was poorly, and I was holding her in my arms, and I took her to Doncaster A&E, and I promise you, look, guys, I've been all over the world. I've done medical assessments on hospitals in third world countries, doing some absolute swizzles, all right, doing some absolute swizzles. And what I saw in Doncaster in the United Kingdom was worse than a third world hospital. It was when you go to a third world, when you go to a hospital in a war zone, in a national emergency, people are moving around, people are getting stuff done, people are punching, people are driving, people are rocking, people are vibing. What I saw in Doncaster was just despair. So I'm there with a girl, and I went into the children's ward, and I walked in, and some guy said, "Mate, I would go home if I was you. I've been here 12 hours. So listen, I know the NHS is bad. I think parts of it need to be privatised. Right. Labour U-turn on digital ID. Right. Let's get this up, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, guys, if you're joining right now and you want to know when I think Donald Trump is going to strike Iran, I'm saying it's going to be this Friday. And I'm talking about this Friday the 16th. Whether it happens or not, it doesn't matter because my analysis is solid. That would be the potential date that I would give a customer. Right, give me a second. Okay, 21 minutes ago, breaking news from 21 minutes ago, guys. Labour is U-turning on mandatory digital ID. I don't think they are. Look, guys, I'm literally seeing this for the first time. This is from, look, at the bottom, 20 minutes ago, literally there, 20 minutes ago. I don't know if you guys can see that. 20 minutes ago, I've been on the live stream like 40 minutes plus. There's no way I could have seen this. Right. And I'm saying from the get-go, I don't think this article's true. I don't think this article's true. Let's explore it and see what it means. Government drops plans for mandatory digital ID to work in the UK. Okay, so they're not saying they're dropping digital ID. They're saying they're dropping digital ID to work in the UK. So, oh no, we're still bringing digital ID in. It's just you can work in the UK without it. Straight away from the headline, okay? That's what the headline says to me, all right? The government is dropping the plans to insist on digital ID to work in the UK. But we're still having digital ID. It's kind of worse, right? This is worse. You know how they brought it in and they said, we're going to have digital ID to stop illegal workers in the United Kingdom. Turns out we're still having digital ID and anyone can work in the UK. That's what I'm getting from the headline, right? That's what I'm getting from the headline. The government has dropped plans to make it compulsory to have digital ID in order to prove right to work in the UK, BBC understands. Yeah, so this is like worse. This is worse, right? So look, guys, you've got to understand the direction of travel in the world. We are heading towards digital ID. I've got until the 20th to decide whether to register with the digital ID or not for my company. I can either let my company continue. That would mean me as a company director, I have to register with digital ID, do all the swizzles, or I can close it down. I'm genuinely considering closing down. I'm not bringing money into this country anyway because it makes no sense. If I can avoid bringing money into the United Kingdom, I do. So digital checks on a person's right to work will be mandatory, but workers will not have to offer digital ID and will be able to use other documents such as a passport. So, yeah, this is worse. But see how they're framing it, right? This marks a shift from last year when the government first announced the policy and Keir Starmer told an audience, you will not be able to work in the United Kingdom if you do not have a digital ID. It's as simple as that. Look, I've said many times, and this is my opinion, speculation for entertainment purposes. Oh God, and look how ridiculous this is. Guys, this is not a good thing. This is not a good thing. So remember when Keir Starmer came up and he said, you will not be able to work in the United Kingdom if you do not have a digital ID. It's as simple as that. We are going to smash the gangs and we are coming down heavy on the people smugglers. Now, if you want to work in the United Kingdom, we don't care if you have a digital ID or not. You can still work in the United Kingdom, but everybody needs to have a digital ID. That's literally what they're saying. And then you see how we have a mono party. Literally have a mono party. Conservative leader Kemi Badenoch said, good riddance, it was a terrible idea anyway. How about a U-turn on digital IDs? Because that's not what we're getting here, guys. Look how they framed it there. And people will just read the headline. Government drops plans for mandatory digital ID to work in the UK. Oh, do we still have to have a digital ID? Oh, yeah. We still have to have digital ID. So, yeah. Labour are U-turning on digital ID, but not U-turning on digital ID. And Donna is saying, because I'm amazing. Donna, you are amazing. Donna's amazing. And she has she's still got her Christmas tree up. She's still got her Christmas tree up. Oh, hang on. I've got a comment here. I've just seen it. McLeggy is saying, you're now blocked for BS video title. Right. How is that a BS video title? I'm saying it's the 16th. Literally the 16th. How is that a BS video title? What the... Do you want me... I'm saying it's my video. It's my video. I've been quite clear on this. This is my video. I'm saying that the information that I'm getting, if somebody was to ask me when Donald Trump, how Donald Trump is going to strike Iran or Persia, I'd say it's coming this Friday, Friday the 16th, depending on your time zone, obviously. Depending on your time zone. Anyway, McLaggy, we love McLaggy. I love McLaggy. Silly Gallardi is saying, maybe you can just not allow jobs for non-citizens. That would be like, sir, that would be like super racist. That would be like super racist. But like, if you want to come here to the United Kingdom, we'll give you all sorts of free stuff, allegedly, for entertainment purposes. Don't forget to recycle and save the planet. Old face nappies make ideal hamster mammocks. What's a face nappy? Face nappy. Oh, masks. Right, okay. Do you know what, Jolly Man? I think you're right. We should all recycle and reuse. Literally, we should all recycle and reuse. Like, literally, use things until they're on the dying death. Right, look, McNappy, or whatever his name was. McNappy? Was it McNappy? McNabby? I don't know who it was. McNappy or McNabby. He's saying I'm blocked for a BS video title. Look, I'll be quite clear. This video is my own speculation, analysis, opinion. I'm saying I believe that the United States will strike Iran. Whatever that strike is, I don't know. It could be a cyber strike. It could be a military option. It could be the spectacular. And during the context of this live stream, I've been explaining why. Now, for those of you guys who want to go a little bit woo-woo, who wants to go a bit woo-woo? Who wants to go woo-woo, guys? Because as I was doing this video, I was trying to think and I don't want to go too into the occult here, but I'm just gonna touch on it, right? It's totally up. The reasons I've given you guys are the solid reasons, right? They're the solid reasons, okay? If you guys want to look into Melania Trump, if you guys want to look into Melania Trump, right? Just look into Melania Trump, his wife, and you'll understand why I'm saying this, all right? So Friday is the 16th, right? It is. It's the 16th. You know what? Before I give this, I think it's fair that everybody knows. And I'm going to go on a little bit of a side quest here. So I love the Sherlock Holmes movies. I do. The Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes movies. I think they're awesome. I don't know why there wasn't a trilogy, because those things are amazing. There's a scene on the Sherlock Holmes movies where Robert Downey Jr. he I think it's the second one. He reads tarot cards. He goes in for a tarot card reading, right? It's cool. It's a cool scene. He goes in to this woman and he asks for a tarot card reading, and she sits there. There's the candles, and he says, "Actually, I prefer to read for you." And he reads the tarot cards for her. And I just thought that was like super cool. I just thought that was super cool. When I was working away in the Middle East, I had a lot of time. So what I did is I bought a deck of tarot cards, right? And I just literally learned what each one meant. Literally, I just learned what each one meant. Now, each one has a different meaning, whether it's up or down, or depending on the spread, right? So I know this is going woo-woo, guys. I know. But hear me out, right? Hear me out. Do you know what card 16 is? 16 as in the 16th of January, the first 16th of 26. It's the tower, not the twin towers, the tower. And the tower means disaster, destruction, upheaval, sudden change, and chaos. In a nutshell, that's what it means. That's what it means. So disaster, destruction, upheaval, trauma, sudden change, and chaos. I thought, you know what? I'm thinking about Melinda Trump's ties, and I'm thinking, yeah, I'm going to go with the 16th. I'm going to go with the 16th, guys. I went with it. So I went with the 16th, right? If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Right, listen, guys, I'm looking at the time. I am going to start to close this live stream down now. We've been talking about I'm going to change that, my exact date. Should I change it? I am going to change it, my exact date. I'm going to put my exact date, my exact date. There you go. Nobody can complain now. My exact date. My exact date. There you go. Nobody can complain now. My exact date. Are people complaining now with my opinion? Oh, your opinion offends me. Really? Imagine if you had an uncharted conversation with me. Right. Let me jump and get some more chat. Oh, Googleinos. He's saying next UK snow bomb set to be worse than expected. I don't know how things can be set. I don't know how people can predict that things are going to be worse than predicted, because that's predicting it's going to be worse, right? Anyway, look. Yeah, so this snow bomb that's coming. Look, everything's relative, right? Everything's relative. For those of you guys who don't know, I was dealing with some of my friends in Kiev the other day. I was putting them together. Basically, some people I know who I work with, their apartment block, in Kiev, they run on an old Soviet system of heating, and that is subsidized by the government, right? So when the temperature drops in Kiev, I don't know what it is, but basically in Kiev, when the temperature drops to a certain level, the government pay for the heating. That's just how it works. I think it's a great system. Now, to do this, you have to have centralized heating. So a lot of apartment blocks, they have these centralized heating hubs. Now, these got taken out, so almost half of the city of Kiev was without heating. The And I was basically putting people together because I've got some friends who live out in the countryside, well, just outside Kiev. They've got their own log burners, their own gas supply, and they've obviously got heaters. So I was putting people together. The temperature in Ukraine, in Kiev, has been a steady the warmest daytime temperature it's been in the last couple of days is -8. The coldest daytime temperature was a couple of days ago, and that was -13. That was the daytime temperature, -13. Nighttime temperature, it's like -22, -20. But look, everything is relative, right? Because we are not prepared for the cold weather in the United Kingdom. We're just really not. You know, and as Google Enos is saying, next UK snow bomb is set to be worse. Yeah, I did see that. I did see that. Right, let me jump down. Oh, D. Marie is saying free Iran. I think we need to start calling it Persia. I do. I think we need to start calling it Persia. The Jolly Man is saying cosmic microwave background light frequency detected trillions of years away proved the axis of rotation was not Earth's tilt. Can't wait for it. Call it's the axis of evil. The Jolly Man, I don't know what that means. Where are we going here with this? Where are we going? I don't know where we're going. Can somebody give me context on this? Galloway Raider is saying, don't be changing yours. Do you know what, Galloway Raider? You are absolutely right. Let me change it back. You're right. You're right. Let me change it back. You know what? You are absolutely right. Let me change that back. You are absolutely right. Thanks. Here, Galloway Raider. Do you ken what I mean, bruh? Thanks for keeping me on the straight and narrow. I really appreciate it. So thank you for that, buddy. Right, listen, guys, we are going to close this down. We're going to close this down. I wanted to do this video, and I wanted to give you guys when I think. Remember, this is my analysis, right? When I think United States are going to strike Iran. I don't know what, I don't know where, I don't know how, but this Friday looks like a key date. I don't really give much. I don't really give much to the tarot cards and stuff. But if you do things, I ken me, I ken you too, boy. Listen. When I was in the army, when I joined 1st Battalion Parachute Regiment, like I was full. Like I was just surrounded by Scottish people. Like I lived, worked, and breathed with everybody was Scottish. I was like the only English person that was there. So what we've been talking about today is the exact date that Trump will strike Iran. It may not happen. Historically, these things happen on a Friday, especially in the Middle East. In the Middle East, the Friday is it's a very holy day. People skive work. People don't go on work. People, you know, it's a lot of people in the Middle East, no matter how bad things are, people don't go into work on a Friday. It's just the way they roll. So if you do something in the Middle East and you do it on a Friday, you've got more likelihood of either causing more collateral or more effect. Also, if we're talking about the oil market, right? For example, let me get this. Joe, let me share this with you. Iran. Right, that's not going to work. No, that will absolutely work. Right, let me right, I am going to share this with you. I'm going to share this map with you. So if we're talking about Iran, can you guys see that? Yeah, you can see that. You guys can see that, right? So if you zoom in here, that's where I used to work there. If you guys can see Syria, those little things, that's where I used to work. So if we zoom in here, somewhere around here, I hope, is a place called Karg Island. There it is. Or Kark Island. So that place there, Cork Island, that is where that is basically, it was built, I can't remember, I think it was built in the 70s or the 80s. That is basically a gas oil separation plant. And all the Iranian, basically it goes into that island as crude oil and it comes out as petrol, diesel, and the rest of the other stuff they pull off it. If there, and I'm not saying there is, guys, but it's got to be a military option. If that island is struck by an airstrike, the price of oil is going to go absolutely dilly the swizzle. It will go absolutely through the roof. Now, further down here, you've got this Strait of Hormuz here. So you've got the Hormuz there. This like little stretch, it's maybe what, 60, 70 kilometers or something. The Iranians can absolutely close that and say, listen, nobody else is coming through there. Nobody else is coming through there. We're not having anyone else come through here. Anyone who wants to bring their oil through there, you have to pay the Iranians a hefty fee. That's 20% of the world's oil. Now, if you know that this is happening, if you know that that's happening and you have stocks and shares and money in one of the other pipelines, then you can make a ton of money. That's why these things often happen. And I'm not saying that's, I'm saying this is why these things often happen on a Friday, because you can make a ton of money. Are we coming or are we going? We are going, guys. Listen, and Silly Gallardi, I'm gonna leave Silly's I'm gonna leave Silly on as an I'm gonna leave Silly's on because I think Silly's in Israel and she's saying something that if you've lived in the Middle East, you all know, people know in the Middle East that Friday is a holy day for Muslims. It is. It's a massive, and it's a Jewish Shabbat. I don't know what that means, but I'm sure it's a lovely day. But for Muslims, I used to work in the Middle East and you could not get Muslims to do any work on a Friday, all right? It's very difficult. So if you're going to plan an airstrike or some sort of military operation, you do it on a Friday. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to close this down now. You guys have been fantastic. I'll be back on tomorrow morning as 10, as per usual. And thankfully, I found the button to put the chat back on as well now. It vanished and now it's back. Anyway, I bid you good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and sleep tight.